You don't become an elite entrepreneur by working hard, but instead by understanding how elite entrepreneurs think and actually doing the same things they do. This video is about the 3 key roles that all elite entrepreneurs master, no matter how big their business is. This works for solopreneurs as well as Fortune 100 CEOs. Because at the core, entrepreneurship really is about mastering these 3 key roles. If you do not master them, you will consistently overwork for a meager payday. You will risk anxiety and burnout when things get tough, and your profits would also suffer. Once you get good at these 3 key roles, I can guarantee that you will have consistent results, peak performance, and a lot of profit at the end of the month. Welcome back. My name is Castillo, founder of Selfmastered, Peak Performance Institute for entrepreneurs. We help entrepreneurs become elite performers that can scale fast without any overwhelm, procrastination, or burnout. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing so we can help you master yourself and scale the easy way. So today's video is about the 3 key roles that every elite entrepreneur has mastered. And if you read enough biographies and enough interviews by elite entrepreneurs, you will notice these 3 roles every single time. And it couldn't be otherwise, because it is the only way to guarantee sustainable and consistent growth and performance. The first role is to design system. So what is a system? A system is nothing else than a series of cause-effect relationships operating within an environment. In essence, designing system is creating the necessary conditions to get the outcome you want. Most entrepreneurs that cannot scale, they're not able to think systematically. They're not able to think about what are the outcomes they want and what specific series of steps they have to go through in order to get that outcome. Because let's say that you want to increase revenue. Well, everybody wants to increase revenue, but understanding how to systematically and consistently drive revenue implies understanding everything that goes into having more revenue. Everything that you have to do step by step in order to guarantee systematic revenue creation. If you do not do that, then you're relying on, random hacks and random efforts and a lot of hard work and elbow grease that seldom gives results and never gives consistent results. So the first role as a CEO, as a founder, as an entrepreneur is to think systematically, identify what you truly want to achieve in business, and find what are the cause-effect relationships that you need to create in order to get that result. So let me give you an example. Let's assume that you want to hire a operations manager. How would you go about this? Well, if you're not systematic, you may ask a few friends, you may check a little bit of LinkedIn to see what you can find there, and you will do, a few efforts that may yield or may not yield the result you want. If you find someone, you have no guarantee that that person is as good as you need it to be. Now, if you are an elite entrepreneur, an elite performer, what you do is that you create the perfect system to give you that outcome. So in this case, it will be, for instance, having a very clear job description with very clear description of what are the tasks and processes and projects that that person will typically be involved. Then map out where could you find someone with that relevant experience. Let's assume that it is LinkedIn. The next step will be launching an ad or a way of baiting relevant candidates to apply for you. Then having a system to filter the hundreds of responses you're going to get, so that you can select the top 50. Then to those top 50, you will create a task for them. And then to the final 5 or 10, you will eventually meet. If you do it systematically, if you create a system that yields the outcome you want, you're much better suited to find someone that actually works for you, that you really want to work with, right? So that is the first role, designing system. Now, the second role, and most entrepreneurs forget about this, is to optimize them. Because the universe is entropic, it's full of chaos and randomness, and things never work themselves out. You must design systems and then Curate and optimize those systems so they consistently yield the efforts you want. You need to provide time, attention, and capital to make sure that those systems continue working. Otherwise, they will just degrade and will not give you the results you want. Like for instance, let's say that you are setting up a cold email campaign to get a client. Well, you know that you need a system, you need a specific way of finding targeted leads, sending cold email to them with one specific claim that they may resonate with, that prompts a response, that yields a meeting. But over time, the cold email infrastructure will need to be updated. The market will sophisticate. The claims will evolve. Maybe the leads you have will not be qualified anymore because they may have moved on to a different opportunity. In essence, the systems you created that may have worked in the past don't work anymore. Instead of just building a new system, devote time to fine-tune, optimize, adjust the systems that you now are using, so that over time you become really good at spotting patterns and fixing the things that need to be fixed in order to make the systems eventually work forever, right? This is how you consistently get the results you want, how you make consistent peak performance part of your business. And then step number 3 is to hire people that can do that work for you, right? So the next level is when you are able to find A players and systematic thinkers that can design systems, that can find the same cause-effect relationship that you initially found when you first designed those systems, and they can build those systems for you, and they can optimize those systems for you. This is when you find a head of sales, a head of operations, a head of marketing, people that can systematically create the outcomes you want because they know how to systematically create the causes that will yield the outcomes that you need, right? So those are the 3 roles of any founder or CEO that really is an elite performer. First, design systems. Otherwise, you will not have any consistency in your business. 2, optimize those systems. Don't look away. Don't do all the things. Make sure that the systems that are yielding the results you want are perfectly working. They're well oiled, that you are devoting time and attention and capital for that. Buy the best tools. Make sure that you get the right people. Do whatever needs to be done in order to make sure those systems do not degrade. And then, of course, number 3, get the best people you can that can systematically create systems for you and make them work. So those 3 roles really are the core of any success in business, but also in sports. Like for instance, what do you think elite athletes actually do? Well, it's the same principle. They design the perfect nutrition system that works for them to train them for the Olympics, or the perfect training system. And they optimize their nutrition and the training regime in order to prime themselves and get to the Olympics with a chance of winning. Over time, they optimize their nutrition, optimize their training, optimize everything that goes into becoming an elite athlete, and they hire coaches, they hire mentors, they hire people that can look after their nutrition, they can look after the training regime without them having to do them themselves. It's the same pattern, because peak performance is not personal. Peak performance is just the natural outcome of well-engineered system. Once you get good at thinking systematically and understanding what causes lead to what effects, you will create the effects and the outcomes you want. And if you are an entrepreneur, and I get this question quite a bit, where do you start? Where do you start building systems? Well, before I reply to that, if you see any value from this video, like it. That helps me understand that this is a topic you care about, but also helps you get a better YouTube feed, because you feed the algorithm with the things that you like. All right, so like it now. Where do you start building systems? Well, since you're in business, the number 1 priority you should have in business is to make revenues. Otherwise, the business will not exist. So you start by mapping out the systems that are closer to the money, the things that bring you consistent revenue. Like for instance, a cold email, right? Or for instance, content creation. Whatever it is that you're doing right now to create results in your business, systematize that. Create the perfect system, and then spend time curating the system, optimizing the system so they can create the outcomes you want. Don't start building systems from random stuff that you seldom use. Build systems for the things that matter the most when they matter the most, and bringing revenue in matters every single day. So I hope this makes sense to you. You do not become an elite entrepreneur and get elite results in business just by working hard, right? You do so by thinking like an elite entrepreneur. And every elite entrepreneur, every billionaire really thinks in a system. It couldn't be otherwise. In fact, Jeff Bezos discussed this quite a lot. He's always thinking about what systems do I need to create, what people do I need to hire, and what decisions do I need to make in order to optimize those systems. He famously quote saying that my only job is to make 2 or 3 good decisions every day, because the systems had already been created in this case, right? So what systems you need to create typically start with what is bringing revenue. 2, how do I optimize them? So what are the KPIs that I use to understand whether they're working or not working? And 3, who do I need to hire to manage those systems for me? Think this way and you will be way on your way to be an absolute elite entrepreneur that can get profit at scale in a systematic manner. This is how you scale to 7 and 8 and 9 figures. Not by working hard, not by randomly doing stuff, not by randomly hiring people, but by very systematically mapping out what is the path towards 7, 8, and 9 figures. If you want to get deep into this topic, check this video, because it's going to help you move into this elite entrepreneurial thinking that I believe will make the difference for you. See you in the next video.